Hey guys, Jeff Hauser with Hauser Racing. Today we're going to do a quick instructional video on how to put the Polaris Pro R two-seater roll cage together that we offer. The one thing to note that the roll cage does come with V-bar intrusion bars or a single bar in the front. We're not showing the single bar in this video. So without further ado, let's get after it here. This is how the kit should look. There's a couple tubes that all look similar, so we're going to call those out real quick. So number one, Chris, what's this front tube number up here in the gusset corner?
This is tube number 9.
Okay, what tube we got there, Kyle?
Tube number 8.
Okay, and then in the rear tube, what's the rear gusset tube?
This would be number 14.
Number 14, and then 16. Okay, and then over here on the side assembly, this is another confusing portion right here. Name out all those tube numbers here.
You have tube number 35, 18, 17, 16, and tube number 6.
Okay, just for the people, show me how the tube number's etched on the tube real quick so they can see where to locate these numbers.
So that 35 is right here.
Oops, hang on here, my camera's not focusing. I can't see it very well. There it is. Okay, so you're looking for an engraving right there. Like I said, I don't know if it's the lighting, but you can see it really good in person, but the camera's not showing it very well at all here. So, okay, there you go. That's better. Okay, so Kyle, what tubes you got over in your corner?
The tube numbers actually repeat. Up there we had tube number A8. Back here there's tube number B8. This is a different kit. It links to tube number 9 from the B kit. And tube number 11 from the B kit. And those go to tube number 6, like so. And then this is tube number 12, and it actually doesn't have a RivTab, it just links right in the center.
Okay, cool. So we'll go ahead and we'll show that going together here in a second. We'll pause the video and we'll go over there and show you that on the weld table. But one thing to note is on these main tubes here, we ship these kits are flat box kits and they're shippable. And so all the kits are telescopic. So if you notice right there, this tube in the rear section slides into that tube. Now to note, this is 2" by 0.95 material on the main tube, and the rear tubes are 1 3/4" 0.95. What's really cool about this is from this point, this direction, that's the same on the 4-seater as it is a 2-seater. So depending on which kits we configure together, we have boxes A, B, C, and D that do all these different vehicles. So we are going to go ahead and show this going together here. So what RivTab number is this one?
This is number 8.
Okay, RivTab 8. Okay, we're going to put these two side tubes on here. What are we doing here? So if you notice, the RivTabs are marked right here what they are. So this is
29 on
yep, like this one's 28, one's 29. And then just so I'm clear, Kyle, it doesn't matter which direction these RivTabs go. Like, so 28 could be, you know, or is this, yeah, that's 28. So it could go this way or this way, correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Or you could even flip it upside down and it still would work.
Okay, so another thing to note is our rivets here. Let me see one of these rivets real quick before you do this on here. These are high strength rivets, and they look like, try to get the camera to focus here, they've got little tabs on there. So a normal rivet gun is hard to put these in, so you're gonna need something that looks like this. You can get them at Harbor Freight, a lot of other places, but it is more of a higher end rivet gun. And what's nice about that rivet is it's never going to come apart and be bouncing around inside the chassis. So, okay, so now that we got that done, Kyle, let's grab your end here and let's take this main tube and let's put this sub-assembly together over on the weld bench. Okay, so now we're going to put together a rear sub-assembly here. And the tube here, we just laid the main tube on the side here. We're just going to use just the cylinder portion of the tube here. So we've clamped it down to our table. And we're going to say what tubes are in this kit here. And which side is this side that we're doing?
Driver's side.
Driver's side. Okay, cool. So what tubes do we have here?
We have 36 and 8 are on the outside. And then 9 is on the bottom. 11 is on the top. And then 12 is zigzag through the center.
Okay, let's do it. Show them how to do it. So as he puts it in there, it kind of holds itself into place, and he just keeps the pressure backwards. Just putting one tack there, and that's all we need. He's going to put this one here on the top here. It locks itself right in. And it may be helpful to put the thing together by hand with a couple people first, just to make sure that you are putting the right tubes in the right place. I know it gets confusing. So then he's just dropped that tube in. Okay. And then he's going to use this to kind of guide it up right there, just to make sure everything is running cylinder. Okay, let's look at that tube real quick. So you got a little notch on the bottom of that tube there. Let's see here. Hang on, pull it back just a little bit.
Show you why it's doing that too.
Yeah.
There's a little notch.
Okay. Okay, so that goes in where there's another tube gonna bisect them. Okay. So this is kind of why you didn't put the tack up in here, just to give it a little bit of room to open up.
There's one tack I didn't tack.
Okay, cool. So that way you can kind of pull it together.
Right into place.
Okay, and then it sits right in there like that. Okay. So now you can tack it up.
Yep, it's good to go.
So he's putting it in there. Are you gonna finish these two tacks or wait till it's on the buggy to do that?
I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Okay, cool. All right. So it's just kind of sitting there holding itself together. Kyle, let's go get the other piece and go from there. Okay, so we just finished that one over there. Now we're gonna finish this sub-assembly here, take it back over to the weld table here, and we'll call the parts out in this one again, and we'll go after it. Okay, so now we're gonna do the driver's side. Kyle's gonna call out the parts on this one.
This one on the outside, we have 35 and 6, and then 10 links into the bottom, 18 links into the top, and 17 goes diagonally.
Perfect. Okay, let's do it. So it's the exact same process as the last one. Just gonna put this one in the bottom, so that it kind of holds itself in. You make sure the fish mouth is perfectly aligned. And he tacks it on. Does the top tube. Hey Kyle, just real quick, flip that over. Will it go in the other side? Like this, will this mouth go into there?
Oh,
Okay, cool. So it's really simple to know that you're doing it the right way.
yeah, this side here will go slide in really easily.
Okay. Yep. So it'd be really hard to mess it up, but it is still. So that one would go on there, but you can clearly see because of the half-inch move back and forth that it's not right. Yeah. So okay, cool. All right, just making sure, just adding a little bit of information here. So if you go to put one of these tubes on and something's sliding way more than it should, reconsider what you're doing. And Kyle's doing it by himself, but it's actually easier if you do have a second set of hands here. But then he's going to put it right there to make sure that it's running true. Okay, so I just paused it real quick because I wasn't sure Kyle was perfectly lined up, but these cylinders need to be, like the copes need to be perfectly in line with that cylinder right there when you go to tack this next tack here. Cool. Then we got the diagonal tube to put in. Once again, he's lining up that bottom notch right there. He's flipped the assembly upside down, and he's lining it up with that hole right there.
There it is.
That's all there is to it. Okay, let's go do the next part. Okay, at this point I know it's kind of confusing because we have this side over here, which is the passenger side, and that's that. But remember, we're building it upside down. So these guys are going to take these rear sub-assemblies and put them on, and I'm going to get over there and show the close-up of that. So they're going to basically switch sides. Okay, so it's just sitting right on the bung right there. And okay, so Kyle's giving us a little bit more information over here. Kyle's done more of these than anybody else, so yep. So they swap tubes here. Then Kyle, hang on here, slow up a little bit. Okay, so you got this one going into here. Okay, so that, just to orient you, we're the one right here, the rear mount all the way under the light. He's sticking that in. And then he's aligning this rib tab here. Okay, I want to note real quick that these here are tapered fits, and obviously you know that at this point in the video, but these can rotate. So that's what he was doing, is he was kind of aligning those to make sure everything was planar. And just another note is that these here, if you put a plane through this, because this mount has like an angle to it, so it kind of goes this direction and then this direction. So if you sliced a plane through there, it would hit the other side on that angle. And these ones here, the plane is this direction, you know, so those angles are right like that. So when you're done, all these copes and everything should be perfectly aligned up here, and this tube should just be sitting in there. And that is a really complicated sub-assembly right there because of all the complex angles to follow the lines of the machine. Okay, and for the record, Kyle doesn't normally wear flip-flops here, but today he is, because it's a family day, because it's the weekend and we have the little person over here, and we got to get this done so we can get out of here because we got shit to do. All right, boys. So this, what they've done is they've laid a ratchet strap underneath these tubes here, and then they're gonna stick this in. She says, hurry up guys, I gotta go to the zoo. But Chris and I needed Kyle because we knew that one person couldn't hold the camera and one person couldn't do all this work. Just gotta flip 180 here, like this. Okay, there you go. And everything just slides right in. Now, this is 2-inch tube back here, and that's 1 3/4 tube back there. And the reasoning is because of the 4-seater chassis, because the way that the roofs connect together. That's what happens there is this. There's a piece that goes under the 4-seater roof, and so that has to be 1 3/4 tube. So there, when you're doing the center tube, note that this is an 1 3/4 notch there, and in the front it's a 2-inch. So you can get that wrong, and you won't be able to slide this cope over that tube. So you'll know which way to align it. Okay, now Kyle's just tightening up the ratchet a little bit here, so it kind of holds itself together. And for whatever reason, Kyle's put the ratchet a little bit closer to the back. I'm sure we'll find out here soon. And then notice he's kept the ratchet away from these 2 rear rib tabs, because when that sub-assembly goes on, you don't want to have the rib tabs hidden by the ratchet. Now we're going to put the front sub-assembly in with the V-bar intrusion bars.
Let me come in.
Let's see if I can get a better angle on this here. Okay, so what just happened here is we went to put these together, and Chris had his tube upside down. It's hard to see because they're ever so slightly the same. So that number right there should go up towards the top right here. So Chris, does yours have a number on it too?
Yep.
I want to make sure they're both the same here. Yep. Okay. So the numbers at the top. So the numbers do go on the top here. So that'll help you get it in together, because they are, just because of the angles, they are a little bit different cope from one side to the other. But that's what's interesting about it, is the rib tab wouldn't allow it to go in incorrectly. So if you're struggling with it, it's probably the wrong way. So he slops that in there, and then Kyle's gonna push his right in. It goes in, and then now we're gonna put the ratchet strap while Chris holds it. And just running the ratchet strap right through there. Doesn't have to be ridiculously tight though, right Kyle?
No.
Just kind of snug. And then we're gonna put one right across it to make sure it can't go out, like, so it can't fall apart. All right. So now this assembly is put together. Now, I've had a question, because we've done enough of these now. And remember, RivTab is a brand new technology. We're all learning about it. Just because we invented it doesn't make us an expert on it. And what we've noticed is that people have said, how do I know that my chassis is square? Well, one thing is for sure, on all of our roll cages so far, these tubes, like that tube right there, that one and that one have been perpendicular to these side rails. So if you put a square right here on this rear corner and checked it, now at this point in time, we're not ready to tack weld it, so we don't want to obviously check it here, but once we're up on the chassis, we would want to, before we go to weld this, we'd want to make sure we're square right there. And then the whole rest of the chassis is square because it's triangulated. So, but yeah, that's how you check that for squareness. Okay, so we're getting ready to put this chassis on here. So it's all zip tied together. The guys are gonna lift it, trade sides here. And then we're gonna take it over to the buggy, put it on without scratching our fenders, which is super complicated at times. Okay, now, another thing to note here, since these are coming in at an angle here, this one we kind of kept tight, this mount. It's a little bit loose, but not ridiculous. And this one here, we left about 1/4 of an inch play. So that way this one could rotate all the way over, and then we can tighten it down later before we go to tack weld it. And then now they have to line these RivTabs up here, right here. So that's what he's doing over there. And once those get to be seated, we're good to go. And since we did these tubes telescopically back here, these tubes have enough play in them, because if you remember when we stuck these holes in here, these had like 1/2 inch holes. So this can rotate about 3/8 of an inch or so and allow us to seat up in there. So see how Kyle just squoze it right down together, and then he's gonna put a piece of electrical tape around there just to hold it for the time being here. Okay, and then he's got this other side here. Hey, real quick, show me how that turned real quick, just so what I just said makes sense. Oops. Yep, so there you go. Okay. And with the complex angles like that, with the RivTab, we found out that no matter how well you bend this tube in one piece to get from there to there to there, we found that having this telescopic tube right there really made everything go together, because these chassis are off no matter what. Like when you have a chassis that's like a golf cart frame like here, where there's nothing in between, like this part right here, the chassis can open and close and open and close, and so it's really nice to have flexibility. And that's what RivTab has done for us so far, is it allowed us some flexibility. And we still have the 2-inch tube over the driver's head. Most cages are made out of 1 3/4 tube, so that's behind the head. So still a very awesome design once it's all done and welded together. So Chris is putting this top corner tube in here, and then he'll just, the RivTabs will sometimes hold the tubes up like that because this one was an angle. So if you notice, that tube is just kind of hanging there until Kyle comes around, puts a little tape around there to hold it up where it goes.
And if it goes in the wrong way, it will not fit right.
Yep.
So you just flip it over and there it is.
There it is. That's awesome. That's awesome. So it just kind of hangs on and holds itself there. Kyle's got these rear intrusion bars set up, and once again, those ones couldn't go in wrong, right, Kyle? Because the angles would point it to the different direction. Yeah, but you can see with the RivTab technology, all the copes fit together just amazing because of the flexibility with the design, the way we engineer this stuff. It's really cool.
These back tubes will just sit loose, and then they'll just adapt right in wherever you need them.
Okay.
So we didn't need a RivTab
Cool.
on these guys. It'll triangulate it.
Yeah, and just sometimes we don't use the RivTab, like he's saying. Sometimes if it's not necessary and we want some more flexibility, that's all we need. Okay, doke. So, and then we got the handle tubes, guys, and then I want to talk about these tire mount holders, and then we're done with the video. So the handle tubes, once again, no RivTab either. They just locate right into place. So what we recommend on these is you can feel it, and the notches are so accurate that you can like get it perfectly aligned. And but however, it doesn't hurt to take a line. You know, you can scribe a line from the tangent part of the tube over, and then you can make sure that you have the right measurement there to make sure that the tube is the same on both sides. But other than that, that's just a little bit of Faber discretion right there. However you guys want to put that in, but we don't feel the need to RivTab that area. Okay, and then tell them about these tubes here you just kicked, or these brackets that you just kicked here. And then let's go back and talk about these rear laser cuts as well. So these here have the flag mounts on them, and they're already pre-riveted when they come from us. And then you can see there's like a little grommet mount there. These still need to be welded. So stitch this down, weld that down on all the verticals on all 4 sides of like this, weld the 2 sides of this one, 2 sides of this bracket here. And then that's all you need to do there. And then we have a little bracket that we put these on, but that's just because we don't have the tire mount. But when you're building this, if you plan on having the spare tire carrier, you should have that already when you go to build a chassis, and put these mounts into it and then hold it up here so that way you can get it where you want. But we didn't want to locate these and put these on ahead of time because we just don't know what mount somebody's running. So that's where we want a little flexibility. That's Faber discretion right there. So cool. Okay, so we made this little bracket here, and we just squeeze it and then tack these on where we need them, and that's it. But like I said, that's totally on you, and you may want to fab your own bracket. So that's it. And so the roof tabs are self-explanatory. On the 4-seater chassis, we have 1 3/4 tubes. So our roof brackets are made in 2 different ways. They have like a cope for a 2-inch tube and an 1 3/4 tube, because no matter what, our roofs are flat with the 2-inch sections. So like, since this is an 1 3/4 tube back there, the bracket would offset it to where it's still up to the 1 3/4. And then when we put our foam down on top of there, you can't see it, everything's great, and everything is pinned down to the right plane. So I hope this instructional video helps everybody out, and I hope you guys love it as much as us. And don't forget to, let's go look at our sheet metal parts real quick. Don't forget that with any of our chassis, like I said, the front half is the same for the 2-seater and the 4-seater. So this would be an example of the roof here for the 4-seater. So you have the 2-seater front section, which is this right here. And then you have the 4-seater rear section. So to run the 4-seaters, we just put this little plate down and on the bottom, obviously. And then you bolt through all the brackets and everything, and that's it. And then this is the front panel for the 2-seater section right there. And then let's see here. And then we have, but this is our front windshield for this, so that we sell a glass windshield that goes in there, and this is the front nose already bent into the windshield. So you can get that as an option, or you can just get like the race nose. Like, I don't know what kind of riding you're doing, but sometimes you don't want the full windshield, so that's just the regular nose that goes on like right on the front of the roof like this. Like I said, guys, I really appreciate your time, appreciate everybody watching. Let us know if you have any more questions, message us directly. We appreciate it. Thanks for your business.